Introducing our lineup now for our under-20s fixture, which is starting in a moment. Firstly, our visitors from Edgeworth. Number 31, Declan Crook. Number 7, Dylan Burston. Number 5, Oscar Coots. 2, Matthew Dobson. Number 11, Patrick Gura. Number 4, Johnson Hubbard. 13, Thomas Kowalski. 12, Josh Lynch. Number 3, Noah Shire. Number 8, Ethan Williams. 15, Damon Green. Number 1, Josh Master. Number 9, Josh Corelli. 14, Archie King. And number 6, Daniel Fabrizio. And Edgeworth Eagles are coached by Gary Borrowdale. Introducing our home side, Adamstown Rosebuds. Number 36, Callum Headley. 37, Cal Lawrence. 27, Joe Licata. Number 28, Chandra Bryan. 29, James Pettit. Number 31, Matthias Shoemaker. Number 32, Harry Trendo. 33, Darcy Hall. Number 34, Brock Trendo. 35, Glenn Goodman. Number 41, Brendan Short. 19, Finley Beasley. Number 7, Matt Sapolsky. Number 5, Josh Williams. And number 1, Harry Smith. Adamstown Rosebuds are coached by Ben Heron and Dave Gabriel. Our match officials this afternoon, Mitchell Lyons, assisted by Riley Jacoby and Oliver Wilcox. All the best to both sides this afternoon.
That one went easy. It was easy enough. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Now it's missing months, right? Yeah. No, no. Oh, yeah. The fancy stuff. Yeah. That's why you want to do it.
That's why,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's true.
That's amazing. I don't know, teams carrying people. Yeah, I was going to say, I want something.
mum and dad. I said they got a designated driver for the next 12 months. That's what I said to Josh when you got his license. I said, mate, you're a designated driver for 12 months. I said, if I want to go anywhere, you're driving.
Billy! nothing to do. I had someone birth too.
Heaps harder body carries. There's a knife twister. It's not hard, it's not hard to carry a bloody weight, is it? Let's go. I'll carry the weight.
I'd like you to carry something for me.
Anything else?
Handbag.
Here we go.
2 jobs, you know.
And at half time now, 26, no score yet. Both teams going to the sheds. No goals apiece. Just a reminder, folks, that today is our 130th anniversary match. Preceding the first grade game, we're going to have a demonstration game by some under-17s from the Adamstown Rosebuds Junior Football Club and also Charlestown United. And they'll be playing small-sided games before first grade and also during half-time of the first grade fixture. Another big thank you to our sponsors for this season, our major sponsors, Avid Project Management, the United Sports Club and Capra Australia. Also a big thank you to Underlaw, 2J Gardner Homes, Broadmeadow Physiotherapy, Twin Wharf Hotel, Driver Safe Driving School, Prime West Edgeworth Town Centre, Ray White Real Estate, Colliers International Newcastle, Forsyth Advisors, Insight Building Services, In Touch Magazine, Barbex Industries, The Sign Shop, Bunnings Katara and Lexus Newcastle. Substitution to Adamstown, number 31 Matthias Schumacher has been replaced by number 28 Chandra Bryant. First goal of the match scored by number 36, Cal Irving for Adamstown Rosebud. Adamstown Rosebud 1, Edgeworth 0. That was a goal by Adamstown Rosebud, and that was scored by number 35, Ken Goodman. Adamstown now 2, Edgeworth 0. Also a couple of substitutions to report. For Adamstown, Harry Frendo is replaced by number 34, Brock Frendo, and for Adamstown, for Edgeworth rather, number 12, Josh Lynch has been replaced by number 14, Archie Finn. Goal for Edgeworth, scored by number 3, Noah Stein. Score now, Adamstown 2, Edgeworth 1.
did that and Sam went quick. Yeah, I just went forward. Yeah, but then it gets stuck to the table. I'll just do it.
Substitution for Adamstown, number 19, Finley Beasley, has been replaced by number 29, Dean Pettit. And that's full time at our 26 this afternoon, 8-1 victory to Adamstown Rosebuds. About 15 minutes away from kick-off in our first grade game this afternoon. In the next few minutes we're going to see some under-7 players from our friends over at the Adamstown Rosebuds Junior Football Club and also from Charlestown United. So thanks very much to both those clubs for providing some under-7 talent to keep us entertained in the next 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give our under-7s a big cheer and welcome them to Adamstown Oval. The under-7s from Charlestown United and Adamstown Rosebuds Junior Football Club.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. And 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Test 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 1 2 3. Testing 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 1 2 3. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, only about 5 minutes away, we'll kick off in our first grade 6 this afternoon. Just a reminder about our sex-educated behaviour and code of conduct, abuse and harassment of match officials, contravening age regulations and blanket followers. This type of behaviour is damaging to the sports reputation of the community and it is driving match officials from our game. Please respect the fact that our match officials make none of the decisions every match which are open to interpretation and they aren't human and they do make mistakes just like players and coaches. Anyone who breaches these regulations may be banned from attending fixtures and could face sanctions including fines, lengthy suspensions and lifetime bans for football-related activities. Adamstown Rosebuds is responsible for the behaviour of our members and spectators today, so we ask that everyone in attendance at Adamstown Rosebuds upholds our game by respecting the invaluable contribution of the match officials in attendance today. Thank you very much. Introducing our lineup this afternoon. First of all, from Edgeworth Eagles, number 1, Josh Lowe, 4, Matt Wheeler, number 22, Miss Dobson, 23, Aaron Capitano, number 10, Keanu Moore, number 11, Dylan Hobbs, 14, Adam Corley, 5, William Spurway, number 19, Martin Jackson, 7, Will Bauer, number 9, Oliver Smith, number 2, Daniel Graham, number 8, Aidan Gardner, number 6, Father Murray, number 21, Kevin Cook, and number 15, Adamstown Rosebuds, our 130th year, our side taking part this afternoon.
Perfect. Yep, it's unreal. Come up here, will
Number 19, Billy Reesley, and Chris Burley. Number 2, Ollie Davies. Number 8, Joe Duncan. 15,
Let's do a test.
25, Luke Malone. Number 9, Connor Hayes. Number 4, Ben Williams.
Just seeing if I can get Willow a seat. Can I move this stuff all right, Mike?
I'll do it for you.
All right.
Do you want to set that in? You can push all this shit along.
Yeah, sure.
Number 5, Josh Williams. Number 4, Alex Noble. 32,
This is me and you, Vic. This is Willow. Willow's is Graham.
We go way back.
Yeah, we've gone well back.
Yeah, mate. Yep. It's hard sitting next to Willow because he smells a bit, but he's probably going to have a stubby later, so I can put up with it. Just keep. Hello and welcome to this round 17 fixture between Adamstown Rosebuds and the Edgeworth Eagles. Today's matchup sees two sides, one up the top end of the table and the other towards the bottom, and that being Adamstown Rosebuds. Weather today is clear, however, it is a strong breeze blowing straight across the field from where we're sitting on the western side, blowing straight over to the east, and pretty much would blow a dog off the chain. I don't know what the wind speed is. Temperature is about 19 degrees without looking at it. I'm Chris Turner. You're being joined in commentary by Graham Law. Graham, welcome this afternoon. Should be a great game.
Yeah, Chris, thanks for inviting me today. The weather's a bit off, but the pitch is looking really good, so two good footballing teams, should be a good game.
Yeah, I think so. Just going to go through the sides. The home side for Adamstown Rosebuds in goals: Dan Eisenhower, Drew Grierson, Matt Keogh, Luke Rutledge, Ollie Davies, Alex Merkel, Luke Valone, Manoli Pappas, Judd Duncan, Connor Hayden, Chris Berlin. And then for Edgeworth, starting in goals is Josh Lowe, Aaron Pedisano, Pat Wheeler, Mitch Dobson, Liam Spurway, Jose Atade, Dylan Holtz, Daniel McBreen, Adam Corley, Will Bauer and Oliver Smith. And today our referee is Mark Carter. Will shortly get us underway. A lot to play for here, Laurie. There's for Edgeworth, you mentioned prior to the game commencing that you feel like they're coming into a good run into the end of the season.
Yeah, just they got the experience. They've been here before quite a few times now, and as the pressure starts building for the 4 or 5 teams that can win the comp, I think Edgeworth's experience of this will stand them in good stead today.
Well, we've got a statistician here next to us in Willow Greaves. He's telling me it's actually 24 knots, fluctuating up to 30, and the current temperature is a bit cooler than I anticipated. It's 17 degrees as we see Chris Berlin about to get us underway. Graham's worth mentioning here is great crowd in. The anniversary for Adamstown Rosebuds is officially yesterday, I understand, 130 years.
Yep. Yeah, I went a couple of weeks ago to the ball that Adamstown run. Obviously, having coached here quite a lot in my time in Australia, I wanted to pay my respect to that celebration, and it was a really good night actually. So hopefully they enjoy the day as well.
Yeah, that's for sure, and by all reports it was a great night. So you see Duncan on the ball floating in through to Berlin. We see this ball come out to Spurway. Heavy challenge from Connor Hayden. He's just made his intention very clear early in the start. Expect big things from him this afternoon. Fondly name him Weapon because that's about where he goes.
It's a handball.
Great opportunity there for the Buds. And a great start.
Yeah, I'd had Connor Hayden when I was up at Maitland. He's filled out now and turning into a right good player. He was technically really good at a young age, but you can see he's filled out and got physique now, and he's a very handy player.
Yeah, I've had some time with him as well, and I think a couple of years in the college football system in the US.
Yep.
He grew and certainly looking the complete footballer at the moment. See Davies come in for a challenge. This one's going to go all the way back through to Eisenhower. Spurway playing forward. Berlin intercepted by McBreen, and Wheeler cleans that one up. Edgeworth without some players today. You know, they're just certainly sitting on the top of the table as it sits right now. They're without Josh Rose, Dom Bazari, Josh Evans, and Sam Maxwell and Nate Cavalieri. So they've got numbers out.
Yeah.
One of the big things for Edgeworth, which I think you're about to allude to, is that they've got a great balance in their squad and depth.
Not just balance as well, the way Zaney coaches them, that the players can rotate into different positions. So I think when they have wealthy injuries like they do, they are able to cope with it slightly better than other clubs, just due to the rotation of the players. Like you're looking at that there, the players can play in multiple positions.
Yeah, absolutely. We just saw Oliver Smith, first real chance there for Edgeworth, and put that one over the bar. But this game, it certainly levels out with a wind this strong. Would you think?
Yep. Yeah, potentially. Just depends who deals with it better. But it's, when you keep the ball on the ground, it's not going to affect the game too much.
You see, both teams have the ability to do that. There's no doubt about that. Judd Duncan, someone through.
It's not a direct. It's a bizarre wind as well. It's not a direct wind, so not one team's going to benefit from it during the half. It seems to be coming right across the park as opposed to left to right.
Exactly right. It's running straight across the park. We see Hayden looking for Berlin, but doesn't find its mark. See this ball played into Corley. Finds Tatey. Holtz. Back into Wheeler. Expecting a big game from him. And here's my Port Macquarie buddy, Aaron Pedisano.
He's an interesting guy. We see him about Cooks Hill a bit. He's got a couple of mates that play for Cooks Hill.
Corley just dispossessed there by Davies.
I think Adamstown are quite happy to let Edgeworth have it in certain areas, and then when they come a bit more deeper, they put on a press. I think that might be the theme for the game.
This is well, they need to press with this man on the ball, McBreen. Ball dangerously across the box. Pedisano back finds Wheeler. Natati back in the middle of the park, has been busy early.
I think it's credit to Aaron being out on the pitch with the injuries he's had to deal with at times as well. He's a strong boy.
Ball float in the box. Berlin, Hayden, Connor, both there. Away by McBreen. Tatey again on the ball. Finds himself unlucky to get a free kick. It go against him on that occasion. Now McBreen, the ball, this one floated in, he's looking to get a cross in, and again, Ollie Davies too strong. We'll see Dan Eisenhower, he'll bring this one back out. Spurway.
It'll be interesting to see if this week's game follows the same pattern as Edgeworth's game at Hamilton CT. I think Edgeworth were finding it quite hard to break them down in possession, and you almost found later in the game they were actually giving Hamilton the time to come forward and picking them off on the counter. It's too early in the game to see this at this stage, but the longer the game stays tight, I think you could see the same thing happen.
Yeah, and interesting with different formations that the teams are running with. Adamstown got 4 across the back, and they've got a screening player in Alex Merkel.
Yeah.
And then they've got 4 essentially midfielders and then 1 up top sitting solo in Chris Berlin, which is opposing to Edgeworth, who are playing a 4-4-2 formation but a 4 diamond in the middle of the park. So these two contrasting styles are certainly going to make it more interesting from a viewing point of view. And you mentioned before, Laurie, that you're noticing Adamstown just sitting off and happy to have Edgeworth play in certain areas.
Yeah, I think Adamstown will be really comfortable, especially when the game's nice and compact. I don't see them the way they've set up, as you say, with that banky 4 across the middle. When Edgeworth have the ball in certain areas, I think they'll be comfortable with that, and press them when the opportunity presents. I think especially with Connor Hayden and Luke Vallone playing on the wide, those 4, one of them can get up quite quickly and support Chris if need be.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so true. This time we see Dobson on the ball. Spurway. Ball's played into Corley. Still on the ball, Corley. Finds Smith. Smith's attempt was blocked, and that'll be a corner.
Yep. Makes good runs across the back line, Smith, especially for a big boy. You look at him and think, big, dangling number 9 target man. He's not that at all. His runs in behind are really clever a lot of the time.
Yeah, his timing of his runs are very good, aren't they? And he certainly has been able to finish because he's been putting goals away, and Edgeworth will be looking for more of the same from him as we go on today. See this ball played into the box. McBreen comes off the side of the boot. Now Adamstown just looking to get themselves out of trouble, on which they do that. Great ball into Hayden. This ball's thumped forward. Looking for Liam Ryan. Doesn't make it, just as far as Josh Lowe.
Both teams just been quite patient so far.
Well, Edgeworth, as the table sits, I mentioned before, they're sitting on 29 points after having played 15.
Yep.
Broadmeadow Magic have played 14 games, are sitting on 28 points, so they've got an opportunity if this game doesn't go the way of Edgeworth taking the lead.
Yeah.
Down the other end, Adamstown are sitting on second last spot with 6 points, just 2 ahead of Lake Macquarie.
Yeah, it's there's obviously a lot of points separating these two teams, but you know yourself, CT, been in the game long enough. It's still 90 minutes and 2 teams.
We'll come back to that in a minute. As we see Tatey on the ball. Now McBreen. Plays that one to Corley. Loses 1-2 with McBreen, and that one goes out for a corner. Yeah, we'll come back to that in a moment because I want to get your thoughts on what you talk to a team about that are coming second last versus a team in your eyes that are really on a roll towards the back end of the season and in good form. Played in short at the front stick. It finds its way only as far as Dobson, still in the Adamstown half. He sends this one back towards the edge of the box. Well,
on that note, I think the advantage the coach at Adamstown is a very young team, and I think that self-motivates itself a lot of the time. And any time I've seen Adamstown, they, regardless of the result, they've certainly not lacked motivation or effort. They put in a good shift every single time. So I think in terms of motivational wise, that would be a pretty easy job for him. I think it's just trying to turn that motivation into a bit more structure and an outcome in the game.
Yep, totally agree with that. As we see Spurway, no disagreement there. One of the interesting things for me is with such a young team, the experience of Ben Higgins has got me a little dumbfounded. He must be injured, although I did see him going over to the warm-up, so I'm not sure what's in behind that one, but he's a player that you want out there for experience against a side in Edgeworth who have got plenty of it.
Yeah, definitely. Ben Higgins, he's been there, done it with Broadmeadow Magic, and obviously there may be more to it than that in terms of injuries or whatnot, but he's certainly a player that can add value and experience. He can probably do it from the bench as well, actually. It's maybe even why he was out doing the warm-up, just chatting to the back four and talking to them about their jobs.
Quite possibly. I mean, a couple of the attributes that I like about him is his distribution is as good as any defender in the league, and his change of pace. And speaking of which, Adamstown come back up with the ball. Yeah, his change of pace and his ability to direct the team around the park, and having those sorts of qualities really help a team that are young. Yeah. And he's definitely a player that I like to see out there.
Yeah, as I say, I would imagine if he was fully fit, he'd probably be starting, so I'd imagine it might be injury related.
He'd have to have some sort of injury. Have to. Anyway, back on the game. Spurway again. He's been busy looking for Berlin, gets cut out by Pedisano, McBreen.
See, that's just that moment there where Adamstown could just be a bit smarter. They're going to have long periods without the ball, so when they do get it, the turnover, you don't want it to be as quick as that. It's almost immediate, just giving the ball straight back to Edgeworth.
Well, we were here, I can't remember what round it was. Ben Homer would click that one out. Adamstown versus Hamilton Olympic, and they played on that occasion a 4-1-4-1 formation, and it was very, very effective and frustrating for Hamilton, and we're looking for more of the same of that today. Yeah. It certainly hasn't been one-way traffic, but you would expect, as you say, based on this early indication that Edgeworth are going to have a lot of time on the ball. Yeah, and
time on the balls, it's not an issue. Like there's a complete myth about teams that have 60-70% possession of the ball are dominating the game. You can set yourself up just to go, we don't want to compete for the ball in these areas, and we'll compete for the other 30% of the game and get an outcome. It's just when you do get the ball back, it just gives you a chance to have a breather from those just trying to follow Edgeworth's patterns they play. But here's Maka on a run.
Ball finds its way to McBreen. He drops it inside. I think he was looking for Bauer. And there's a high foot. Berlin on Dobson. Dobson just shakes that one off and gets on with it. Plays out to Wheeler. Pedisano.
About 20 minutes in, I'd say both teams probably well settled into the game now.
This breeze looks like it may just have dropped off a fraction.
The way the wind's going here, this could be an interesting corner coming in from this side.
Great float in. There's bodies everywhere, and that one put over the bar by Wheeler. Yep. Ben Homer, but he's in the UK.
Yep.
Smudges at a birthday party. Damien Smith. I'm Chris Turner, joined here with Graham Law. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Great crowd in for this 130-year anniversary for Adamstown Rosebuds. Got a great representation of the club here, and as you said, Laurie, the ground looks fantastic as we see Lowe launch this one down the pitch. Finds its way into the middle of the park. Over to Corley. Progresses things forward. Looks for Ollie Smith. Will Bauer. Now Pedisano cuts inside. Just on the edge of the box. A faint call for a penalty, but that was never on. So we see Spurway.
Adamstown have got numbers here. They've got lots of numbers if they can switch the play here.
Well, we can see Hayden on his own at the back stick and is calling for it.
See, this isn't bad though. They've went forward and looked for an outcome, and it's not been on. And now they've came back the other way and kept the ball. This is what they need to do. They're just a bit ball possession sometimes.
On Berlin with a half opportunity there. Not sure if he was going to just take a touch or hit it first time, and in the end, it's probably neither. McBreen finds himself on the ball, moves it forward, finds Corley. Time to Atadi. Spurway. Back to Corley. Cuts inside. Tries to get McBreen. McBreen finds half a chance. As Eisenhower comes and smothers that one up.
It's just, as you say though, it's just half chances. They'll be pretty comfortable with that. Their defensive shape's pretty good, Adamstown, actually, so far. I mean, there's been a few corners go, but that's going to happen. But you can see that Edgy are trying to play those little triangle passes through Maka. And he's intelligent enough to do that. He's just trying to bounce players off Maka. But so far, Adamstown are handling it pretty well.
Yeah, I like the screening of Merkel there, sitting in front of the back four, and he's really cutting a lot of that out. You see Hayden get a strike on target. And just went over the top of the...
They're having times each of doing that, CT. Like Duncan's coming and dropping in at times, which is allowing Merkel to push higher up. They're rotating pretty well in that.
Yeah, and it's all about having that balance as well, isn't it? Now, with both Smudge and Bart away, I'm going to have to put this one on to you, Laurie, is that I'm reading a book about gravity.
Yep.
And I just can't put it down.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, dear. I knew I shouldn't have took that call off you about this game.
At least you got a giggle. The other two boys just look away. Our wonderful cameraman, Mike, he's all over it. He likes it. Doing a great job here on Bar TV, as the team do, week in, week out, bringing you this coverage. It's a privilege to bring it to you. So we see Liam Ryan just cut out there by Wheeler. McBreen finding himself on the ball here. So we see the likes of Merkel doing his job. It's played over to the top to Bauer. Just couldn't keep that one under control. Eisenhower gets that one away. Corley doing everything to keep it in, but in the end he's just put it out. And Valone and Hayden have swapped sides at the park, so just mixing things up a little bit here, the Buds, on their 130th anniversary. Paul in looking for Berlin, but in the end finds Wheeler out to Spurway. Now Hayden plays into Berlin. This time that one's been cut out by the Buds defence.
See, this is where that's just that moment there I'm talking about. They've worked so hard to get the ball back, and then the first pass, and they turn the ball over. Just those little moments, if they can have a couple of minutes in possession on the ball.
Yeah, totally agree. And one of the things about Edgeworth's play is that they're not limiting or not letting them commit to too much possession, and that's a credit to the way that they've set themselves up. And this diamond seems to be working well for them in a contrasting 4-1-4-1 formation at the moment. What's your thoughts? Like, as a coach, you see a team come out, and let's say we're Adamstown in a 4-1-4-1, and you see Edgeworth come out with a diamond midfield. Are you going to change anything, or you leave it as it is?
No, I think if you work all week on your own tactics, it's got to be about your tactics and how you want to implement the game. I think later on, when the game surfaces round about this time, you get a feel for if you need to change things. But I wouldn't imagine Adamstown will have worked all week on a shape, and I don't think it had been 100% dictated by what Edgy do. So.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I've always been of the opinion you let them worry about what we're doing.
Yeah,
we go about our business.
to an extent, you don't want to be so pig-headed or stupid to not change it if you can see that it's not working during the game.
Correct.
But I think if you work all week on a structure with your players, you want your players to believe in it.
There's a foul there on Liam Ryan. Adamstown progressing forward in numbers, and they've just fouled, and you see Mark Carter pull that one up.
Was that Evans that picked up the yellow card there? Not Evans, sorry. Was that Pat Wheeler that just picked up the yellow? That was a bit soft.
All floated into the box. Didn't find anyone except for Pedisano picking up Edgeworth and getting them out, progressing out of their bottom third of the park. This is where the Edgeworth have held a little more possession than Adamstown in a match that's seen plenty of turnover so far. Corley just releasing, intended to release to McBreen. A little bit disappointed he didn't get that one earlier. And this time we've got Valone cut out by Dobson.
I can see why Mac is frustrated there. He's run underneath Colley's run there. He's run 30 metres into space and he's never received the ball, you know.
See Josh Lowe sending this one down deep into Adamstown territory. And that results in an Edgeworth corner. Tady will come out and take this one.
There's Macca just having a word now with Adam Colley, just explaining probably in a certain way that when I make those runs I want the ball.
Yeah. That's exactly right. At my age, if I run, I receive it.
Yeah, I'd say.
Ball was sent wide by the Edgeworth attack. Spurway let loose with that one. Edgeworth just looking to get the ball in the box, but they were dispossessed. Judd Duncan can get that one away. Ends up with a Pedisano. Wheeler.
See, this
Dobson.
This is where a Fedor can move the ball a bit quicker, and it's how they got it at Hamilton last week. They got it at Hamilton when Hamilton were in higher possession of the ball. And just these opportunities there, that was a chance for Liam to get round and higher. I'm sure that will come later in the game. No doubt, the longer it stays as tight as this. Adamstown they got the structure well, and Edgy are going to have to move the ball quickly in stages to maybe get through this.
This time Spurway comes away with it.
Yep.
Corley on his left. And his coach will be not happy with that. Straight in front of Zane, that one. Tatey brings that one from Ryan. And McBreen, a strong, overly strong shoulder. Sensing a little bit of frustration there from McBreen.
Yep.
Time this ball gets through as far as Oliver Smith, but he's being deemed offside. It's probably Edgeworth's best chance at this point. Zane calling out Spurway and also into Corley, saying let's get this thing play a little bit quicker. You get it at feet, get Corley in, and we'll go from there. This time Grierson gets the ball into Liam Ryan. Back out to Grierson. And all the way back to Rutledge. Grierson again floats this ball into the box. And it finds the goal line.
So what's that? That's half an hour in, CT. What's your thoughts on the game so far?
Look, I think despite where the two teams are sitting on the table, one's in first spot and the other one's sitting at second last, it looks a lot closer than that. As far as the actual game goes, these two contrasting formations, one hasn't been dominant over the other, but it appears to have turned over a fair bit of possession this time. Seeing Adam Corley, sorry. Now Bauer's involved. And just to finish that off, Edgeworth have had more possession, there's no doubt about that, but certainly haven't had any clear-cut chances just yet.
No, there's been half chances, and I think Adamstown will know coming up against Edgeworth there's always going to be half chances. But yeah, other than that, set a couple of corners obviously, but I think Adamstown will be pretty pleased with how this has started. I do think when they have the ball they could keep possession of it for a little bit longer, just because the work rate these guys are putting in to close Edgy down is enormous. You've got to have a breathing space at some stage in the game.
Yeah, totally agree with that. As we see Pedisano.
But then if you were to speak to Zaney as well, he's probably quite happy with the way the game's set up just now as well. They're penetrating a bit more, and probably he's thinking, just looking for that final ball to be a bit better.
Yeah, and final ball, and also probably, as you mentioned, a little bit more possession as we see Pedisano try and get that one to come in against a strong breeze.
I do think Zaney might be looking for his two strikers, because as you say, he's playing the diamonds, which is ending up with two people playing at the point, and I think he's probably looking for a bit more from those players. The runs off the ball seems to be a bit straight at the moment.
Yeah, especially when your midfield is so staggered.
Yeah, that's right. And with a diamond as well, it can be a very narrow way of playing the game. So when you got the two up front, you are looking for them to peel off a bit wider sometimes.
See Smith unloads. See Holtz. Sees McBreen back stick. And Eisenhower there to clean that up. Mark Carter says no, and that's going to be a corner. And that point you're just making, it can be a tied-up forward-diamond midfield, and that's where you want your left and right fullbacks in play. Yeah. And when they're in play, that gives them the opportunity to get into those channels and create a real lot of problem.
To be fair, Chris, up the right-hand side, Aaron, he is getting real high. So I don't know if that's just part of the game plan. They're using the one side at the moment.
Well, it's just gone beyond McBreen, the evergreen McBreen. Cleared away by Ollie Davies. Wheeler back on the ball. Finds Holtz, Tatey, McBreen. This time Bauer. Adamstown quite content to let that one run out. Free kick now. Laurie, we're joined by Willow Greaves, called him our statistician earlier. He's been part of the Adamstown Rosebud clubs. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, Willow.
No worries, Chris.
The club 130 anniversary. I know you were at the ball. You got a start there. I'm not sure how that happened, but it seemed to be a great night.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the history, the ex-Socceroos and players, and how big the club was 20 or 30 years ago. That was very entertaining for me to hear about.
Yeah, and a great turnout, and it's just a testament to the club and its history. And it's not easy for clubs to get teams out on the pitch week in, week out, from under sixes right through to your first grade side. You've got your children that have played with this club, and so you've been a part of it. You've obviously seen how well this club has stayed together through the tougher times.
Definitely, for a club to be around for 130 years is a big achievement, and shows that people involved, as with any club, doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and just struggling a little bit, maybe in more modern times, but a younger side, maybe in the next couple of years they can get back to some glory days here.
Yeah, that's for sure, and I think most people in the Hunter would love to see that happen. It's certainly building themselves back into that position is the plan. So we see a foul there from Edgeworth. This ball will be played directly into the breeze from the Buds.
Young Ollie Davies is struggling here.
Well, we're seeing Ben Higgins warming up. So if he has got some sort of mystery injury, we'll soon find out if Ollie Davies is to come off the pitch. And he's had a good game so far.
Yep.
Laurie, so they won't want to see him go off, that's for sure. But as you say, he is struggling at the minute, so we may well see Ben Higgins come into this.
He's trying his hardest to shake that off, whatever it is.
He sure is. He'll come off. In comes the ball, but it's skewed out to Berlin. Just pops it in the box and it's cleared away. McBreen can't quite reach it. Again, the ball comes back into the box. Josh Lowe comes out to take it and then cleans it up on the second attempt. So it's better from the Buds. Laurie.
Yeah. Yeah, it just gives them that injury also just gave them a little bit of breathing space for a second. They'll just go again and hopefully get through to half time. And then second half they'll maybe get a sniff that something's on and open up a bit more.
You sense that in the Buds 130-year anniversary match. You're looking to get through to half time. They'd love to get a goal before that point. Ollie Davies is still struggling, not running freely. Berlin, he decides to keep possession. Davies, Ginger, gets the job done. Berlin, he's a competitor, isn't he?
Yep.
Bauer, Spurway, Back to Bauer. Tight, well pressed by the Buds. Spurway launches that one down. That one finds Smith. Back out to Bauer. Continues forward. Bauer's got Pedisano down his right side. Gets it inside the box, but just cut out there by, again, some good Adamstown defence.
I think that's a feature of Edge's play so far. We're talking about the fullbacks getting higher and how Liam's stayed home the whole time and Aaron's went high. I think that's part of their make-up this half. They're looking, for whatever reason, I think Zanies look to expose Adamstown down the left here.
Totally agree, and down Adamstown's left side with the Pedisano getting in there as often as he is, with the narrowness of that diamond midfield, it's seemingly working, but his crosses have been cut out so far. Still with us, Willow Greaves. Willow playing a 4-4-2 in a diamond shape like Edgeworth are at the moment. You see that as an advantage against the 4-1-4-1 system?
I think it's about the personnel. Personally, if I'm out there playing with Daniel McBreen, I'm trying to give him the ball and run off him and use his class and his touch, and that's certainly what I would be looking to do out there, is combine as much with him, and that's what I would be doing out there regardless of the formation, to be honest, CT.
Yeah, it's a great point, as we see Hayden looking for Valone. High floater from Berlin. He gets a turn on. Plays it into the box. Ryan almost on with a chance. And that one goes out for a throw in. So good pressure again, Laurie, from the Buds.
Yep, definitely. They're in a far higher area of the park now. So let's just see if they can work an opportunity out here. Work rate alone, they're definitely worthy going in level at half time here. But these are, as you know, key moments in games before half time and before the end of the game.
Absolutely, as we see Hayden cut inside. This ball into the back stick. Merkel getting himself into that phase of play, and Josh Lowe again sends another searching ball down as far as Corley. That one cleared out to touch. We'll see Spurway get himself on the ball. The throw in. Again, another throw in for Edgeworth. Headed away. Valone.
They've got a couple of numbers up here. If they can turn this the other way, they have. Could get a decent counter here.
Judd Duncan out to Connor Hayden. They are in numbers, and here they come, the Buds.
Ollie Davies can get advanced here.
Chris Berlin finds himself offside. A little bit frustrated he is there.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that. They had players, probably the first real time in the match, that had more than a few numbers high there.
Ball again by Lowe, sent deep into opposition territory. For lone Ryan. This time he finds Duncan. Back out to the weapon. And Connor Hayden. Only Davies. Berlin. Back into Hayden. Davies, the dangerous ball into Josh Lowe, fumbles it, Graham Law, that would have been a real upset.
Yeah, Josh would have been disappointed with his handling there, but he recovered. But again, the last 5 minutes, Adamstown have probably had their best period of possession and positioning in the game. So it's not been all one way.
Totally agreed. So here we go, Pedisano again, down that right-hand side of the park, finding plenty of space. This time, Corley. And goes out for an Edgeworth throw-in again, which will be taken by Aaron Pedisano, my buddy from Port Macquarie.
Yeah. You got buddies everywhere, CT.
Oh, I was just saying that because my eldest daughter was living there for a while, and I told him to get all of his mates to look after her.
Right, okay.
I'm not sure if they're looking after her or looking for her, but anyway, however it works out. Ball into Corley, sorry. With Pedisano.
Opportunity before the break, maybe with a corner. Yeah.
And again, this one was diffused this time by Grierson.
This is the corner, the way the wind's blowing. All their set pieces at the corners have been from the other side, and this is the one that caused real problems the last time. They put it right in under the keeper. So I'd expect the same again here. I think that if it's hit properly, the way the wind is, I'd be putting this one right under the crossbar.
This one in with some whip. And on the ball, and that's a strike. And what a terrific strike from Jose Atadi, and he has struck that one beautifully. Fell out absolutely perfect, struck it. Bottom left-hand corner of the net, Graham Law.
Yeah, I thought there might have been a bit of danger there. It's just the way that we can see it perfectly, the way the wind's blowing there. And it's not a hard set piece, you're just putting it up in the air and it's causing a few problems. I feel a bit sorry for Adamstown, the work they've put in, but we just spoke about it maybe 5 minutes ago. These are the key parts in games.
That's for sure, and they were pressing and they were looking like they had the upper hand there for a minute. Jose Tade, I should say, I keep making a mistake, apologies for that. He took that one gleefully, put it exactly where it had to go.
Yeah, he did. Good strike. And you know, there's that many bodies in front of you in that situation. It's what you try and coach players. Just hit it clean. Don't try and... You're not going to pick a spot. He had basically 15 players in front of him there. Just hit it clean and hopefully you get an outcome.
This time we see Davies on the ball. Oliver Smith, in fact, puts that one over the bar.
Yeah, and to finish, that's exactly what he done. He just concentrated, kept his foot over the ball. And
Smith has been in good form, and you would expect he's going to get it on target from there.
Shane will be disappointed with that. He's probably just getting prepared to go in at half-time there and see how well the formation and the shape's working. You can still deliver that same message. One goal doesn't really change this game.
No, I totally agree, and what they've got to take some strength on is that they've had good territory in the last 10 minutes, as we see this time Bauer forcing a save there from Eisenhower.
Yeah, they have. But then on the flip side of that, Edgeworth now go in with the tail up, and that can be dangerous.
Yeah, for sure, and Coach Damien Zane will be fairly relieved that they've got a goal at this point, because they don't want Adamstown coming out buzzing, which they probably will, but they'd like to get another goal. If they get another goal, he'll feel a little bit more relieved, but at the moment he's aware that he's got a game on his hands. So that brings us into half-time. Score being Edgeworth Eagles 1, Adamstown Rosebuds 0. Graham Law, your summary on the first half?
Possession-wise, I think it's how we probably expected the game to be, and the way both teams set up. Edgeworth getting allowed possession in areas that wasn't hurting Adamstown. But I think probably a draw might have been about right that first half, but Edgy take their chance and they go in at the lead at half-time.
Yeah, I agree. I think with the majority of the first half, Edgeworth have had more of the possession, but Coach Damien Zane will go in pretty happy. They're 1-0 up at this point. You've made a great comment there. Fair would be a draw at this point in time. However, it's not. It's Edgeworth Eagles 1, as I said. Adamstown Rosebuds 0. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Look forward to your company then.
Yeah, good stuff.
Welcome back to Adamstown Park. It's Chris Turner here, joined by Graham Law in commentary. Adamstown Rosebuds versus the Edgeworth Eagles. Commencing the second half. Edgeworth have just scored before half-time, in case you've just joined us. After a period where Adamstown Rosebuds did have some sort of control over the game. Graham Law, is that a fair summary?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny how that works in football. You know, been there, done it yourself, CT, where you're in a really tight game and you enjoy your best period, and then you lose a goal. It's both frustrating and why everyone loves the game so much, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's for sure. And on this occasion, Edgeworth sitting at the top of the ladder, they've definitely got their noses in front. It just seems that the luck of the leaders, you know, in some ways, but you're making your own luck, aren't you?
Yeah, and the thing is, for all the possession Edgeworth had, none of it was as penetrating to the extent that you felt Adamstown were really under pressure. But possession can sometimes lead to something, and it did.
Yeah, and if you missed that goal, it was a corner played directly into the breeze, got into the box, and it came back out and found the feet of Jose Atadi.
However, during the break there, CT, the wind does appear to have switched slightly, and I think it is favouring Adamstown second half. Well, you say favouring Adamstown. A lot of teams like playing into the wind as playing against it.
Well, straight in, back into the action, and it was as good as any chance other than the goal for Edgeworth. And that time, it was Bauer and Smith in the action.
There doesn't appear to be any changes by the teams at this stage.
This time, Connor Hayden down the other end for Adamstown. Gets a shot on goals, but that was easily picked off. This time, got Drew Grierson on the ball. Matt Keogh. And to Ollie Davies, who copped a knock in that first half, Laurie, and seems to have recovered okay.
Yeah, he's a big, strong boy. He's got over that.
Wheeler goes as far that time as Judd Duncan. Duncan on the ball, finds Hayden. Little nutmeg there for Duncan. Grierson. Wheeler. A lot of old boys here today from Adamstown Rosebuds. We went down and got a can of lemonade there, Laurie.
We did.
They're there in numbers, and it's a lot cooler down there in the breeze.
Yeah.
You mentioned that breeze. It was directly going from straight across the pitch as we look at it. And now it's got a southerly influence.
Yeah, I don't think we appreciated sitting up in the stand here just how windy it is until we went out there at half-time. So
that's for sure. This time we see Corley. Finds McBreen this time, who advances towards goals. Pedisano on his right. Just trying to pick that one off. And Duncan comes away with it. Finds Liam Ryan, still on the ball. Just trying to get that one away, but finds himself as far as Spurway that time. Adamstown find Chris Berlin. Had Liam Ryan there on. He's still on the ball. Ryan cross diffused, still in the edge of the box, and now Josh Lowe will pick that one off.
Positive start by Adamstown second half. Going behind doesn't really seem to have affected them or their game plan.
No, it doesn't think so. And what do you think Coach Cansdell, Sheriff, would have had to say there at half-time, Laurie?
Well, I think he'd have been positive. You got to just, wherever possible, address the goal but forget about it. It's it's almost like a cup tie for Adamstown. They're not going to progress much higher in the season on the terms of the table. So you start looking at targets and achievements, and I think they'll be looking at this and they'll be having a crack at it second half. It's almost like a free hit, really. They can pick up a very memorable win.
Yeah, that's for sure, and you're right. You've got to keep motivating your players when you're down the bottom end of the table. Today doesn't need too much motivation. It's a 130-year anniversary to see McBreen take a strike. And what a good strike it was too, just over the top left-hand corner of the crossbar. He's looking to take their lead to 2, but not on that occasion.
Yep.
Yeah, big day for Adamstown here, 130 years in the anniversary, and great achievement of the club. We mentioned that in the first half. A good crowd in attendance. They've got lots of club people here. But I'll tell you what, we mentioned the weather. It's cold. It's so cold. It's that cold. We walked downstairs and we saw a solicitor with his hands in his own pockets. Thanks, Greenie. Yeah, we learnt that one on the way to getting a can of lemonade. So this game is picking up with some energy from Adamstown in particular, and now a couple of good chances, Laurie, from Edgeworth.
Yeah, it's actually a really good game to watch. It's like games like this that are tight and there's not a lot in them. They can be as good a spectacle as a 3-all draw if you really appreciate the game. I'm finding this quite intriguing and an enjoyable game unfolding.
Teams maintaining their shape, contrasting shapes that we've spoken about in the first half. 4-4-2 for Edgeworth and diamond formation in the middle of the park. And a 4-1-4-1. McBreen again tries to get himself an opening. Adam Corley. It's a deflection. Now an Edgeworth throw in. And that same man on the ball again. Finds Smith in the end, but he couldn't keep it under control. Berlin.
It's a chance for Aaron to get higher here. I only ever call him Aaron because I can never pronounce his surname correctly.
The mate from Port Macquarie, a Pedisano. Players everywhere here for the Buds. On that time, Liam Spurway comes away with the chocolates. And that one being a defensive tackle. We've got, appears to be Mitch Dobson down on the deck, seeking some attention.
Yeah, Edgeworth are really struggling for players just now. The bench they've got warming up. It's just half time there, CT, actually having a real good look at the league ladder in the NPL. Obviously my concentration's mostly towards the new FM at the moment, and so I got a chance to actually really have a look at the NPL ladder there. It's so tight. Like Jaffas could still win the league from 6th position just now. That's brilliant.
It is, and this game is a good reflection of that. A team at the top end of the ladder and at the bottom, but it's still very close.
Yeah, I didn't realise how close it was. It's just interesting. Like I have heard a few people saying, "Oh, Jaffas might not make the top." I'm only using Jaffas as an example. They might not make the top 4. I think they got 3 games in hand on Edgeworth. But I'd rather have the points in the bag than games in hand.
Look, I was talking to Coach Damien Zane before the start of the game, and he said games in hand are great, but they don't mean you've got points.
Nah, they don't. And games in hand have also meaning that there's the likelihood of send-offs, injuries.
That's exactly right. So you'd love to play them and have them already done and got some points out of it. That's for sure, as we see Connor Hayden tackled by Aaron Pedisano.
And you know as well, these it's something that we experience at Cooks Hill as well. We find night games a bit more challenging sometimes because the reality is everyone works, and a lot of people have physical jobs as well. And it's with the best will in the world, it's more difficult to get a group of players up for a night game than it is on a day that they're not working. As simple as that.
Couldn't be more true, and it's the reality of the league that we play in. It's not a full-time professional setup by any stretch, and coaches have their challenges in putting that one together. As we see this time, Smith one-on-one. He's tried to chip, and that one's just put over.
You know, I don't think he realised how far the Buds keeper was off the line there. Initially, he's just concentrating on the ball, and it wasn't until he's took his first touch he's seen the keeper's there.
Well, that's exactly right. And Eisenhower was a long way off his line, and it could have taken a little bit more.
I'm not sure the keeper
game.
had to be there, to be honest with you. There's two defenders covering the area.
Yeah, he may well have been in the thought of just getting in position to smother it up, but he was caught a long way off his line.
Here's a good opportunity. Oh.
Some good defending there from a Pedisano, who then directly finds the ball again for this man Smith. Good defending there from Adamstown. Spurway. That one's out for a Bud's throw.
Substitution for Edgeworth, number 22, Dobson has been replaced by number 19, Tyson Jackson.
So we've got a substitution here, Tyson Jackson coming on for Dobson. He's had a good game, Graham Law.
Yeah, that's only injury based. He's not been taken off for any other reason. He took a knock in the first couple of minutes. Second half, he's just not been able to shake it off. And Holtz will move into centre half, and Tyson will just come and sit in the bottom of that diamond shape, I think. If anything, it'll actually allow young Josie to get a bit higher up the park now, I think. So without it being meant, I think it could work in an attacking sense slightly better.
That man, Jose Tatey, he's our goal scorer, separating these two teams.
Edgeworth, you watch them, they know their roles so well. The way they're playing this diamond shape, and they're just rotating it. Like, it's very difficult to actually say who's the holding six in the diamond shape, because it rotates all the time. And even Mac is up at the point, and then he'll drop into the six, and Jose will just push on into the point. It must be so difficult for that four across the middle to mark for Adamstown.
Corley just working his way into the box, and your points are absolutely valid, and it's a reflection of their whole squad. Their squad rotates, they move, and they're moving within the game, and they're moving outside of the game, the rotation. They've got out, it was mentioned earlier, Josh Rose, Tom Bazzari, Josh Evans, Sam Maxwell, and Nate Cavalieri is a keeper, and they're still putting out a quality side.
Yeah, and I don't think it phases them either. They just look like they got that much trust in each other, and it really is a squad, because people come in, fit in, and they just seem to know where to be in passages of the game.
And isn't that a testament to the coaching that they've got from Damien Zane in his organisation of that group?
Yeah, definitely.
And as you know, as the head coach of Cooks Hill, it's not just about coaching a football team. There's lots of other people that you're going to come across. You've got committees, you've got volunteers, you've got people that are printing off magazines, you've got all sorts of things, and as other coaching staff, team managers, etc.
Yep, but I think it's an advantage if your role is solely on coaching, which there's that. To run a club, you know yourself, it's so difficult. You're so reliant on volunteers, and sometimes you got to do other stuff. But I think Zane truly does get to just coach it at Edgy and concentrate on his team.
Substitution for Adamstown, number 15, Drew Grierson, has been replaced by number 17, Manoli Patrick.
And at the end of the day, first grade's about winning games.
Yep, couldn't agree with that more. That's the reality of our football leagues. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Chris Turner here with Graham Law. This match, Adamstown Rosebuds versus Edgeworth Eagles. We see the Eagles up 1-0 at this point. Adamstown, though, making a statement that they're still right in this game and holding good possession as we speak.
They are, and they're trying to sit higher up the park now as well, which against a team like Edgeworth, how quickly they break it can sometimes go against you as well. You know, you sometimes start to get a feel for the game, and this is exactly what happened at Hamilton last week. Obviously Hamilton were winning on this occasion, but Hamilton felt they were that much in the game, they were starting to open up a bit more, and then within 10 minutes you're wondering where it's came from.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? And they've got the ability to do that, Edgeworth side.
Well done.
This time we see Connor Hayden. He's looking for Berlin. Didn't find him the first time. Pat Wheeler. That's where Pedisano under a huge amount of pressure. And we're not finished yet with Ryan, who was claiming a free kick for himself, but in fact goes the other way to Edgeworth. Laurie in front of us, we've got the great Darren Green, golfing personality. The swing coach, my personal swing coach from Toronto.
Yep.
He hasn't moved seat just yet, so we can't be that bad. I'm guessing we're borderline. I've seen him half get up a couple of times. He hasn't shifted just yet.
Which, given he's heard your jokes, is surprising.
Yeah, it's a fair call. He must be warm. That'd be the only reason in that spot.
Yeah.
I
was actually just speaking to him earlier about my new set of golf clubs. I was very surprised at the price he's offered me them at.
Yeah, he's yeah, go and see Darren Green. He'll look after you, Toronto Golf Club professional. He's really looked after my swing. It's flow, open, sweet, clean. Great contact on the ball. He'll look after you. It's pretty ordinary, to be honest, and I do need to go and see him. Anyway, back with Josh Lowe. Another deep ball in.
Mac is a bit disappointed with himself there. He just maybe took it a wee bit earlier than he had to there. Easy for us sitting here saying that, but he did actually have a lot more time to take a touch and steady himself.
A player of his quality and experience, he has very high expectations and standards. This time Edgeworth fall into their defensive pattern. Judd Duncan.
This is the first chance Buds have had to test the way the wind's changed here. They could put this one right on top of Josh Lowe. I'd certainly be looking for my player to do that right now.
That man Lowe comes into play, settles things down. Directs that one out of the park. Was intended for Smith. However, Oliver Smith wasn't able to keep it in. And again, the Buds back on the attack.
Game's just losing its way a little bit just now.
I was just going to say, both teams a little bit sloppy at the moment. It's just that patch in the match where
I think again, CT, like we're sitting in the back here, we're not getting any idea of the wind. If you ever look at the trees in front of us here, it must be really difficult to get the ball down and play today.
Yeah, absolutely, and you'd be feeling right at home, Graham. Law, in these type of conditions, cold, windy.
Yep, I spent a long period of my life playing in far worse conditions than this.
And it's fortunate that Bar TV has the subtitles flowing across the screen. I'm sure all of you at home viewing will be enjoying that. This time it's launched down the park by Wheeler.
Actually, I spent a considerable bit of time today hunting out a New Zealand cricket top for the World Cup final when New Zealand play England.
Yeah, Australia copped a thumping, that's for sure.
Yeah, very disappointing.
Break in the play here. Looks like a double substitution.
A really good shift Chris Berlin put in, which he always does anyway. Gives you his all.
Yeah, he sure does, as we see Tyson Jackson on the ball. He does. He puts in a good shift every time, and he's a great competitor and has been for a very long time.
It was quite interesting. Like I actually brought Chris Berlin to Adamstown. Geez, it must have been 5 years ago now, and I remember him. He was really unsure when he left Magic that he even wanted to go and play for another club. But it's testimony to the type of guy he is. He's been so loyal here, and almost 5 seasons later, he's still playing.
Number 32, Harry Brenda, and for Edgeworth at number 14, Adam Corley, replaced by number 10, Yanni Moore.
Little half opportunity there for Keanu Moore. Just couldn't quite find his way through that gap.
I wonder if this change will offer Adamstown a chance to maybe change their shape and go with 2 up top. Chris Berlin's very good at playing the single striker up top. I'd be honest and say I don't know much about Frendel, who's just came on, but it appears that he's came out to the left, and Hayden's went up to the point. So it'll be interesting to see if they change it up and maybe go with 2 up top now.
Well, that's exactly right. And Chris Berlin, his strength is a number of things. One of them is holding the ball up,
Yep.
back to goal, but also running into positions, and his angles and his timings are great. So
Yeah.
he fits a single striker.
Yeah, and it suits the way they set up as well. That 4-1-4-1. You can bring other players in just by holding the ball up because his strength. That's what makes me think maybe this is a tactical switch by Adamstown, because Chris Berlin's easily fit enough to last 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's for sure. He can go the distance, no problem. In fact, he's incredibly fit at the moment. I was speaking to him a few weeks ago, and he's as fit now as what he's ever been. See Edgeworth back on the attack. Time corner kick for Edgeworth. Tyson Jackson on the ball. Plenty of numbers in the box. Laurie.
Yep.
This one finds a front stick and only there as far as Edgeworth. Let's just get this ball back on the deck as we get a chance this time. Struck off the crossbar. And Bauer. How that hasn't gone in, it's got me amazed.
Oh, I think it looks a bit easier than it actually was. That ball's travelling back at a good pace off the bar, and he's took it first time. Maybe. If
we had the benefit of a replay, we'd love to have another look at that one.
I think it's a harder chance than it first looks.
Here's their next chance, Buds, and that one being picked off by Eisenhower.
But yeah, in the context of this game, there ain't been many chances. It's probably the best one so far.
There's no doubt. Crossbar, strike, and then missed opportunity.
I'm sure my view might change if one of my strikers missed that. So I make that about 20 minutes to go. It's probably a stage in the game now where Adamstown will want to become a bit more attacking minded and have a go here.
Sure will, as we see McBreen and Bauer combine, and they will, and they'll be looking to get a goal fairly soon, and so the movements from Adamstown will be a little more direct, you would expect. Laurie.
Yep. I think they are sitting with two up top now as well. It looks like they might have changed that.
This ball finds Hayden. Great touch. And he's
what a smashing ball.
Ball back out to that right-hand side of the park. And again, Josh Lowe absolutely launches that one down the park, and probably too far because it's picked up by Eisenhower in the end. Ollie Davies on the ball, plays it outside of the boot. And Harry Fiendo.
Buds are going to bring on a striker now. So they're going to bring on Talon Martin. That might be Merkel coming off.
We've got a substitution here. It's Alex Merkel coming off and Talon Martin coming in.
Substitution for Adamstown, number 12, Alex Merkel, has been replaced by number 23, Alan Martin.
Alex Merkel's had a fair game, Laurie.
Yeah, I thought he's had a very good game actually. He just sat and he's probably been the one that's sat and covered the defence more than the rest. Judd Duncan's dropped in a bit, but I thought he's had a great game actually. In a very hard area as well because he sat right bang in the point of that diamond the whole game. It's I'd say it's exhaustion that's got to him there because a very, very good game he's had.
Will Bauer plays that ball into the box. Again, the Adamstown defence stands strong. Finds Hayden. This time goes out for a goal kick.
It's an interesting situation now for for Edgeworth and for Zaney actually. Oh, is it like
big bump from
in
Ryan.
terms of how this game sits for both teams now? This is a huge 15 minutes for Edgeworth with how tight the competition is. It's like a sticker twist. Do they go on and hunt a second goal, or do they sit in and just see the game out? Because 3 points today would be a pretty big statement.
Well, you're currently the head coach of Cooks Hill. What would your strategy be in Edgeworth's position right now?
Well, again, it depends how they've set up for the day. And it appears that they have sat with quite a structured formation. There's only one fullback been getting high. It's been Aaron on the right-hand side. You can see that Liam's job on the left-hand side is to be just sit and cover that area. But I think I don't know if the players Edgeworth have got in the park, I don't know if it's in their DNA to sit and hold on to a 1-0 win, to be honest with you. So,
yeah, for me personally, I would be just sending them out to win the game, and if that means continuing to attack, that's what it is, and just be careful in your balance. Make sure that you're not all men forward, and absolutely overloading, and making sure that you maintain that balance that I've just mentioned. As we see ball floating in for the top, and Pat Wheeler there to clean it up.
it just shows you the versatility of the players again, though, because they've got quite a few defenders out, and when Dobson got injured there, no panic, just defensive midfielder Dylan Holtz drops in.
Ollie Smith put under a ton of pressure, surrounded by Adamstown bodies, but earns a throw in. So we see my mate from Port Macquarie, Pedisano, back in action with a throw in. Was launched up as far as McBreen, who got to knock in the back, but referee says play on.
So you can just see the game changing slightly. So Edgeworth have got a quite a high throw-in, and now Buds are sitting with 4 behind the throw-in. So they're clearly going to try and get something out of the game now. They're leaving men further forward.
More. This time the strike from Atadi misses its target. Good opportunity there for Edgeworth.
Yep. Edgeworth going to make a change here again. I wouldn't be that surprised if it's for Macca here. I think he's had a a really outstanding 75, 80 minutes, but I reckon the tank might be empty now.
That ball's floating into the box and almost finds the net. Somehow Adamstown have kept that out. And that man you're talking about, McBreen, back on the ball, weighing his options up in a very busy part of the park. McBreen again, just can't get that one under his feet onto his left-hand side. Another good effort there from Adamstown, but stopped by Lowe.
Josh Lowe's going to be a bit disappointed with his kicks from hand today. His distribution's normally far better to point than that.
Well, you're right, Laurie. That's Daniel McBreen coming off.
Usual. That's how. What age is Daniel McBreen now? He's in his 40s, isn't he?
Staying right out of it. Probably late 20s.
That's outstanding. Well, that's outstanding. That he's still able to put in 80 minutes at this level. And still one of the best players on the park.
Yep, we've been saying that for the years he's been in the competition now, and he's doing a fantastic job. This time a corner for the Buds. This breeze is going to help them here. It's blowing up like a southwest, which will be right in the favour for the Buds. Delivery into the box, but just doesn't quite make it. And Eisenhower looked to get the Buds back into attack. Graham, what's your thoughts on this matchup now, and what Buds have got to do to get themselves a goal?
I think they're actually trying to achieve that now by getting men further forward. They got generally 3-4 in front of the ball now, whereas opposed to when Chris Berlin was on, they were sitting with a point. So just really if they can start finding feet with these extra players, which is going to leave a few gaps in other areas of the pitch now. So it might actually present opportunities for Edgeworth with the space as well.
This time Bauer just kept out by Eisenhower. Another good opportunity there for Edgeworth. Laurie, Eisenhower looks like he's may have copped a bit of a knock, but he's shaking something off there. Obviously not too bad if he's taking the kick. This time Bauer gets his opportunity, slides it back inside. And again the Adamstown defence.
I think
strong.
Sorry to interrupt here, Chris. I think one thing Zaney will be maybe slightly disappointed with today is that final ball in the final third. There's been areas where that they could have had that final killer ball and there's been quite high turnover.
Yeah, you're right. The turnover has been high, and he will be disappointed with that final ball, because a lot of the time when it just needs to go when it matters, that's when it's come down.
Yeah.
Having said that, the Adamstown defence has held very strong for mine all game.
Yeah, they have, absolutely. And I don't think the turnover's been high in other areas of the pitch, CT. I think it's been that final third. And I don't know whether it has been. Maybe it's credit to Adamstown. They've shut the space down and put pressure on, so you're having to play your pass a bit quicker than what you normally would.
Spot on. And just that point where you're just trying to make something happen. And Adamstown have been in good position to...
You sometimes just force it a little bit.
It's exactly the word, forced play, and turnovers are occurring.
And you know what, credit to Adamstown. We're late in the game now, and the goals came from off a second phase of a set piece off a corner. So in open play, they've handled Edgeworth really well today. How mature a performance does Josie Atari put in for Edgeworth for his age?
Yeah, he's certainly been good in a dominant position that he's playing in, where you've got the opportunity to influence the game, and he's done that, and he's also scored to put his team in front. This time, the Buds have that opportunity.
It's also a great example for kids out there that sometimes get intimidated by size. I mean, this kid's probably the smallest player on the park. He's held that 6 for Edgeworth. He's done that for a few weeks now. I remember him playing it, the 6 in the 5-0 win against Valentine at Spears Point in the FFA Cup. And it's just a good example for kids out there, especially kids that don't have the frame or the physique. That's irrelevant. If you read the game and you move the ball quickly and you have a good first touch, you can play anywhere. Yeah,
totally agree with that. And you, like myself, are big supporters of putting younger players in when they're ready to go, and it's generally the young players that are going to dictate that and let you know when they're ready.
Yeah, that's right.
See Will Bauer on the ball, and that one's gone out for a throw in. Edgeworth will pick this up.
I think the thing as well is certainly, I chat to Zany quite a bit. He doesn't give the young players it for nothing. It's not a free ride. They got to earn their spot in the team. But yeah, absolutely. If you're good enough, age is really irrelevant.
Yeah, that's something that's been said for as long as I can remember. And what Damien Zane does particularly well, he gets to as many games as he can, from under 6s to his coaching junior teams. He knows pretty much every player in his club, and they're all part of a long-term plan. So we've spoken before about the succession of Edgeworth, and he is the key in that, because he really has a flow on from those younger age groups right through. And we talk about the depth of the squad that we've got here today with that many players missing. It's not an accident that he's got that depth, and the way that he blends them in together is a real credit to him and the club.
I think it's a philosophy that I think the opponents are playing today are trying to embrace that as well. Adamstown, they got a very, very good 18s and 20s squads at the moment. But the key point as well is it's okay. I was speaking to somebody about this before the game. Actually, it's okay playing youth and supporting youth and saying I'm youth development. But you got to win the bloody game as well, CT, and it's first grade football, mate. It's not a kindergarten. Youth development's great, and a pathway for youth is great, but it's first grade football. It's got to come with results as well, or it's all pointless.
Absolutely, it does, and that's where Edgeworth have been successful, because it takes a long time to develop that. As we see a foul there. That was Spurway that's taking a knock. Referee Mark Carter. Referee Mark Carter. He's reached into his pocket. Got the head of referees down here, right, Alan? Don't think there's any issues from him on that one. We see Edgeworth now with the opportunity to put the ball into the box. Ball was kind of fluffed in there, Laurie.
Yep.
Aidan Gardner's still on the ball.
If the score finishes this way, Edgeworth have had to work so hard for this win today.
Totally agree, and it's not over yet.
It's not.
We're winding down, but the Buds just keep on coming, don't they?
Yep. They are, yeah, they keep coming, but it's also in the back end of the pitch for Adamstown. They've closed space down at every opportunity. I have no idea what Shane's tactics would have been today, but I reckon they've been pretty much. The scoreline at the end may not show that, but I reckon his tactics have been pretty spot on today. They have held a very classy Edgeworth team to a tight game today.
Like I said before, in the first half, when they played against Hamilton Olympic and had the back four with the screener in front, it really worked well, and he was a great block, and it's worked today, particularly with Merkel when he was on earlier. And he was taking that role. He was playing in what's called the number 6 these days, and he was that person screening, as we see Gardner. And the ball in the box, looking for Bauer, but that one just goes a little long, and in the end goes as far as Judd Duncan. Duncan's tricked himself there, and
then you look at it from Edgeworth's side, and although it's been a tight game,
Bauer to Gardner,
they'll probably feel they've been comfortable all day, because I can't think of too many chances Adamstown's had either.
No, that's exactly right, and their setup has been terrific. Adamstown, as that one almost gets through.
Well, my point there was credit to Edgeworth as well. They've been structurally sound, but I know you come to just expect that from them, but still, I can't think of too many chances that Adamstown have had either.
Yeah, so true, so true. Duncan launches that one forward. Cut it by Spurway. And Pappas.
We've got to be moving into injury time now, I would think, or very close to it.
And if Edgeworth are to get the points here, Coach Damien Zane will be ecstatic.
I've not had a chance to look at the fixture schedule for this weekend. Is there any other games today, or all the other games tomorrow?
It's a good point. Go around the grounds. We're definitely in injury time right now. The other game was between Lambton Jaffers and Valentine Phoenix, and the Jaffers won that game 5-2. So a big result for Lambton, and you've mentioned them before, saying that they can still win from 6th place.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting run-in.
Certainly watching this one wind down, certainly in the final stages. Duncan overhead clears that out. Again up for a header from the same man.
So,
and again Duncan.
Have you got a man of the match, CT?
Well, this time we see Oliver Smith. He's just run that out. Look, there's been a number of players, but one picking out is Jose Tate, for me, has been, we spoke about him a little while ago, he's been very, very instrumental in the way that Edgeworth have gone about their attack, and he's been very consistent. Put cream on the cake for him as he scored a goal, but very, very happy with the way his performance has been today.
I'd have to agree with that, and it's certainly not just based on him scoring what might be the match winner, which is the match winner. I think he's just years ahead of his age.
Well, that's the wrap-up from this one at the anniversary match, 130 years for Adamstown Rosebuds against Edgeworth Eagles. Edgeworth Eagles 1, Adamstown Rosebuds 0. Graham Law, your thoughts on this one?
I think a fair result. I think Edgeworth did do enough to win it. I think Adamstown can be pretty pleased with the effort they put in and how they restricted Edgeworth to limited amount of chances. But yeah, I think a fair result.
Yeah, I would think so the same. We're going to see if we can get a hold of Damien Zane.
Yep.
Stay with us just when he comes back over and have a chat to him on what this victory means to him and the club. Great result for Edgeworth, and they're coming off probably a little bit relieved, to be honest, because it was a very, very close game. Edgeworth sitting in top spot. They'll take the 3 points absolutely today, but Adamstown haven't made it easy.
No, not at all. Not at all. And as I say, Adamstown have got a lot they can take from this game and maybe pick up a few more points before the end of the season. Just a really enjoyable game in difficult conditions.
We'll do our best on the move here at Bar TV to get a hold of Damien Zane as he comes off.
That's about it.
So stay with us. He's just on his way now. Cheers. So we're lucky enough to have head coach here, Damien Zane, joining Graham Law and myself. Zaney, this one for Edgeworth was, we were saying here in commentary, it was a pretty tight game.
Yeah, I thought we played pretty well the first half, but and was still a threat on the break in the second, but they got a foothold in the game, and I thought they were pretty decent in tough conditions in the second half.
Yeah, look, defensively they set up well. You had different formations that you were playing today, and all in all, they set themselves defensively pretty hard to break down.
Yeah, no, I watched them against Magic, and they were pretty decent that day. So I didn't expect any less, and yeah, like I said, that was just tough to play. I imagine out there it's tough, at times just watching and seeing the players struggle, but. The injury to Dobbo was probably the last thing we needed, but, the boys stood up and did roles that, it's just what we do, isn't it? Stepped up and did a role.
You're sitting at the top of the table. These 3 points today against the team coming second last, hard to come by, the 3 points, but what does it mean to you?
Oh, it's massive. It's one step closer to the semis, and, after watching them against Broadmeadow and even today, I agree with what Shane said. They're a better team this year, even though results don't show. And I don't think teams are just going to take 3 points off them in the run home. No,
absolutely not. Now, Laurie's got a question for you, and I've got something for you. So I'll give that to you, and I'll be back.
I'm just saying, we're talking about how your philosophy on youth, Zany, but I was saying to CT there has to be an outcome at the end as well, and it's first grade football and it's winning games.
Yeah, no, I said to the 20s today, I've changed, what we do with them the last 2 years, and we expect them to win now and start learning to win. We know they're still developing, but, winning's a habit, and it becomes part of your culture, and it's part of our culture. We want to win every game we have playing. So.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to CT, is saying it's all good having the youth development, but they got to earn it. And you rotate your youth if they're not performing. We chat a lot, and you've got boys in your under 16s ready to come in and take their place.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're we've got some good talent coming through, and yeah, if they're performing, I'm willing to show faith in them. It's pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah,
If they're
yeah,
performing at training, yeah, I'll back them.
Yeah, good.
I'm going to jump back in. Now, Dom Bazzari has opened up a cafe called The Pickled Onion. So we want to thank you for having a chat with us so you can have a chat with him. This is a free coffee. Go and see Domo down there at The Pickled Onion there in Hamilton. And if you're a supporter of football in this area, go and have a coffee with Domo at The Pickled Onion at Hamilton. So
It's
thanks,
quite
Amy.
decent coffee too.
It is. I went and sampled one yesterday. So thanks, Laurie, for your time today, and thanks, and go and celebrate with your team. Cheers,
Thanks,
mate.
guys.
Cheers. Thanks. All right. Well, we'll leave it there, and thanks for your company this afternoon, and we'll look forward to catching up with you next week.